What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about Doctor Who Season 2, Episode 3, The Well, aka the sequel to Midnight, that, the worst kept secret in the world. But yeah, so this is a sequel to Midnight. I did watch Midnight right before I watched this episode, because I remember Midnight, but I didn't remember it, like, to the exact details. And to be completely honest, as fun as this episode was, I don't even know if I really needed to watch Midnight, other than when they talked about it being a diamond planet and things like that, it stood out. But there was nothing about it was the same. The only thing that was the same about it was that the creature would like get into people's heads and like make them argue with each other and fight and like be dickheads to each other. That's really the only thing that kept it the same. And I guess the planet. I guess if you count the planet, that too. But so the episode starts, which I really like that they continue to keep doing this. The episode starts on the TARDIS with Doctor and Belinda. They're chit-chatting. I believe they talk about her parents. The doctor says that he's going to make her dad laugh and that her mom can whistle at his behind, which 100% makes me think they knew exactly what they were doing with those ads. Shedding light on Ncuti Gatwa's ass. They really were showing that ass. They knew what they were doing. Doctor Who, you sly fucks. But so they're in the TARDIS. They get to change clothes again. They change to Toxic by Britney Spears, which I believe is the second time now that's in Doctor Who. But I really, really, really like that part. Like, change clothes to the vibe of what the adventure is. That's just so fun. I love they keep doing that. So they pop into like the ship or wherever the crew's at on the planet. They instantly fall down with everybody. And this is one thing that I didn't even think about until I saw people talk about this online. Why did the Doctor and Belinda have those suits? Not the helmets, but they ended up having the exact same suits as those people. Does the TARDIS know that now? Does the TARDIS know exactly what clothes to wear for that? Why did the Doctor have these spacesuits instead of the spacesuits they typically wear? I don't know. I honestly never even questioned it. But a lot of people were like, why did he have the same suits as those people? I'm like, well, they didn't get the helmets until they got down there. What's going on? I don't know. I can't answer that for you. But that is a little odd, to be completely honest. My answer is either the Doctor or the TARDIS just knew that they needed that shit. I don't know. But when they get down there, Belinda and the Doctor, they vindicate the planet. They want to pop back up, get to their TARDIS, and just, get out of here so they can get Belinda home. And they learn that they're stuck down there for 5 hours. They go search into the base. I forget what it's called. It's like something 15. They go in there. Everybody's either shot or all their bones are broken in their body. We end up learning later on is because they smashed all the mirrors, so they couldn't see the creature behind any of them. And, if you get behind the creature, it flings you across the room. Or if you have the creature around you, someone might get paranoid and shoot you because the creature makes you paranoid. They have like a little heartbeat monitor, like they're playing Call of Duty, and they end up finding Alice. She's the last survivor. She's a deaf girl. She's a mother. She wants to get back to her kid. But unfortunately, she has the Midnight entity on her back. For anybody else, did that remind them of, I can't remember what the episode's called, but when Donna has the big-ass cockroach thing on her back, and she's like talking to Rose right before the finale. I love that. I love... This just felt like such a classic Russell T Davies running down corridors. We're all on a spaceship. Fuck the planet being over. The entire universe might end if this creature gets out. Shit like that. Some of those episodes can get very stale. But when they do it right, oh, I love those episodes. After they meet Alice, one team stays with her, Belinda. They're trying to fix her up, clean her up. Meanwhile, like all that, the Doctor is going over to the well. They keep going back and forth. Belinda's taking care of her. She keeps getting scared and paranoid, seeing things behind her. So this part is pretty interesting. So the Doctor and Belinda both at like the exact same time are kind of talking to each part of the crew, and they end up finding out that Earth doesn't exist, at least that far into the future. Even though he did tell Belinda that the human race, they travel, they voyage into the stars, and they own it.
There's always a human race. You voyage out there and own it.
What?
Planet Earth.
Never heard of him.
Earth is gone. From what we saw at the end of the first episode, with Earth being destroyed May 25th, 2025, that does happen, and nobody knows about Earth. Is that all Mrs. Flood? Is that some other thing? Is that going to be the Midnight creature coming back to the finale? What's that going to mean? Why does no one know about Earth anymore? Other than the obvious that it just blows up because of some bad guy thing. Like, why did some bad guy want to blow up Earth? Other than to, like, hurt the Doctor. I've seen this online, too. I don't understand why the Doctor can't just go, like, a couple days before May 25th and then just kind of pop out, or May 24th, whatever the day is. But a couple days before and just pop out and kind of wait around and just be like, oh, this is what happens. Other than the wibbly-wobbly Doctor Who answer, we just can't do that. I don't know why they don't do that. They're trying to get, like, video footage back up. The Doctor ends up having to sonic it, and they get more information. Then the Doctor figures out, oh, fuck. Oh shit, this is This is midnight? This is where they were building that fucking spa and shit while I was with Donna? At that point, they know Alice is the only survivor and that everybody else in the crew is dead. After all that, he runs back into the room. They're all kind of arguing with each other. They figure out by like doing a perimeter check around her that if you get behind her, it flings you across the room and you die. So don't do that. But while they're arguing with that, some dickhead calls a red code and he's like, I'm in charge now, motherfucker. Let's come on, everybody. And then that was a bad idea. Everybody ends up getting killed, including him. The lady in charge ends up having the girl, Alice, turn around really quickly and ends up getting that guy flung into the wall, which was pretty fun. I did like that. What was really, really fun about that scene, too, they did it actually a couple times, because there is, like, some throwback music. I know they've kind of been doing that throughout these 2 seasons a little bit. People kind of complain that they reuse music. But this, like, I'm pretty sure they use this music at midnight. It could just be in some David Tennant episodes. But it just, some of the music that they keep repeating, it's really nice hearing that again. I know some people are like, no, it has to be for this character, blah, blah, blah. But if it fits a moment or, like, you know, fits a vibe, I'm fine with it. But yeah, the music was really good this episode. The score, just, you know, they got Toxic in the beginning, and then we jump into some, like, horror movie scores, and it was just fun. So after a bit, everybody's dying, you know, they're trying to figure out stuff. The doctor ends up talking to the entity, and he gets really close to Alice, and he's looking at it, and you can kind of hear whispers, but you don't know what's being said. But apparently, it knows the doctor's name, which there's only a few things out there that know that. I mean, I feel like River knew that, Clara knew that, because she read that book. I can't remember if she still remembers that or not. But, like, you know, it's always a big deal if someone knows the doctor's name. And now we know that the creature's still out there. What the fuck does that mean for later on? It does make the doctor cry, which we should talk about that. The doctor's cried all 3 episodes in a row. And to be completely honest, it doesn't bother me. It actually has felt fine for each moment completely. I did feel like last year there's a couple times where I was like, come on, dude, like... What are you crying for? It doesn't bother me at all. Everybody seems to bring it up. That's the only reason I even wrote it down in my notes when I saw him cry. But yeah, this doctor's emotional. Get over it. Like, this is where it starts to get a little confusing, a little Doctor Who, wibbly wobbly. You fucking just throw some science at it and it works. The doctor makes a liquid mirror behind Belinda by, like, I don't know, whatever the mining gases were on the planet, whatever the shit was, it makes the liquid comes down behind her through all the pipes. And the entity ends up seeing itself. That's why it smashed all the mirrors before, throwing Alice off of it. But so they do that. They vanquish the monster. They're running down the hallway. And I really liked this part. As they're running down the hallway, the doctor stops and turns around and is like, no, I want to see it. And you kind of get a little glimpse of it. The camera's down low of it. You get like a shadow and like maybe a foot or something. If you do watch Doctor Who Unleashed, they do show the entity, but it's kind of just like a stunt. It's a stuntman in a suit, but like it's not really what it's gonna look like. If they bring it back, it probably won't look like this. This is just like for those shots to kind of see it. Yeah, they're running down the corridor. They get to the airlock. Some people get up. There's a big crash. The entity is back in the room with everybody. It's on Belinda. What the hell are we gonna do? Is it Shava? I can't tell, but I wrote it down, but it fucked up. So the lady in charge shoots Belinda, saving her. Which again, I don't know why the entity would leave her. She was still alive. I just don't get that part. But she shoots her. It jumps off Belinda. The creature is now on the captain, the lady in charge. She runs all the way back to the well, jumps in, thinking she saved the day. Which is that part was nuts. I can't believe she jumped in that fucking well. But she thinks she saved the day. The doctor and Belinda get back on the TARDIS. He wakes up Belinda, like, informs her what just happened. We cut to one of the officers talking on the computer, giving an update on the whole situation and what happened. And then she's talking to Mrs. Flood, and Mrs. Flood's like, oh, good, did he have one of these Vindicators? This one felt so random to me, to be completely honest. I love Mrs. Flood. I love all these scenes. This felt such like a Susan Triad. There's clones of her, and maybe none of these Mrs. Floods are the same, or she's just playing along in this role right now. I don't know. They're really good at throwing you off with this with Mrs. Flood kind of shit, because I have no idea unless she is just the Ronnie like everybody kind of assumes. I have no clue what's going on with this bitch. I got no clue. But so after she's talking to Mrs. Flood, she leaves and she's talking to some lady, and then she figures out that the creature is on her back. So when do we think this midnight creature is going to come back up? Clearly they have some kind of idea. Eventually it's going to come up, or they would have just let the captain, jump and die and save the day. Maybe not anytime soon, but I bet you he knows when it comes back. Yeah, and then now we have the next on for the episode. The next episode is Ruby and her boyfriend. I believe this was originally called Meanwhile, and now it's Lucky Day, I believe it's called Lucky Day. It's like, but it will just be like, what has Ruby been doing while Belinda and the Doctor have been off these 3 episodes? And then we're supposedly, I think we also get like a scene from Space Babies, or like a mission we never saw with Ruby and the Doctor. It doesn't make sense for the timeline for it to be current Doctor, you know? But also from what I've heard is at a certain point, Ruby ends up joining the crew in the TARDIS. So maybe that'll happen next week at the end. Who knows? I didn't rank last week, so I don't know. I don't really like ranking them. But if I was to give this a ranking, I think honestly I'd give this a 3.5 out of 5. Almost 4 stars. If the ending was a little bit better, a little bit more clear, like I just understood what was going on, then I think this would be a 4 star. Yeah, that was a fun episode though. To be completely honest, because Russell Davies hyped it up and was like, this is the episode you don't want to be spoiled for. There's this and 6. You gotta watch them. I was kind of hoping for like some kind of lore answer, or I don't know, something, you know. Maybe something with Mrs. Flood, something with the Doctor, something with Belinda. We didn't really get any of that, to be honest. But obviously, the spoiler was just that this is a sequel to Midnight, the worst kept secret of all time. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for my thoughts on the episode. I really, really enjoyed this. I'm just so glad that the Doctor Who's back. If you like this review, please like and subscribe. Comment down below what you thought of The Well, and we'll see you guys next time. Maybe actually comment down below also if you think this was important to have this as a sequel to Midnight, or if you think this could have been a separate entity. Let me know your thoughts down below. Peace out, Girl Scouts.